You mentioned that for separation anxiety training, you should end the training session when the dog gets above a mild frustration level. She says, my dog used to sleep in the bed with us, but we've started putting him in a crate at bedtime as part of his separation anxiety training. But he's had a couple episodes where he would be in a panic barking. Is this considered training still? And should she be, quote, ending the session? Or should she just let him bark it out because it's just like, no, he just needs to like sort of learn to.
I think it's kind of hard to explain because I personally will not let a dog panic, but I think a lot of people read just a bit of a frustration spike as panic. It's really important to understand what's one and what's the other. So a dog who is panicking is going to escalate and not come down. The pitch of the bark is going to be a lot more frantic sounding. The dogs who are frustrated and just having a bit of a fit, they tend to have like a more of a repetitive bark. Whereas if they're panicking, they're going to escalate almost into more of like a scream and they sound extremely distressed. They might bite at the bars, but there will be no down at all. So a panic just goes up. Whereas if they're frustrated, they may go bark, 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 bite the bars a little bit and then stop or decelerate and then they'll amp up again. If you feel like there's an up and down and maybe the dog is just a little bit frustrated, then I think that that is okay to be like, okay, I'm right here. You're in your crate. I'm going to help you settle down, but you don't necessarily have to abort the session because sometimes it's actually really good for them to go through some of that frustration and kind of work through it because we tend to reinforce it a lot. So they get a little bit upset. We step in, we let them out and they're like, oh, okay, well, that really worked. And next time I might do that behavior again. So there is definitely a lot of value in just being like, you know what, you can vocalize a little bit. I'll tell you it's fine. I'll be here, but I'm not going to let you out. But if the dog is actually having like a panic meltdown, then you probably want to abort the session because it reaches a point where it's not productive and it actually can be harmful. But knowing the difference is really important. Like you'll see with frustrated dogs, they'll bark, they'll cry, they might go, chew at the bars and things like that. But the level of a panic dog is just, that much more intense and there's no de-escalating.